Hey guys, so obviously there's a lot of things that I need to talk about real quick before we start the video, and the first thing I need to say is yes, I know there was a long hiatus between the alien video to this one, and trust me, it's part of it is due to laziness, the other part of it is the fact that we're trying to finalize things so that our house gets rebuilt. Now, with that out of the way, so that, the algorithm has something to send out there in YouTube. Comment down below if you agree or disagree with any of our takes, okay? Trust me, we are open-minded, and we don't shy away from harsh criticism, okay? I didn't stop because of those harsh criticisms in Alien. Trust me, I didn't, okay? But lastly, subscribe so that you can get notified for when there is a new video and you don't have to get surprised at all. So, and with that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we?
Isn't that the point?
Let me ask you a question. No. You are playing ignorant. You are playing very ignorant. You know exactly what I mean. This is a very grindy, slow deck.
Okay.
And
my non-engine just consists of kaiju monsters. Alright. Because someone has something like Destiny Plasma, which I cannot out. Then
what you're saying is like trying to say, well, I played True Draco, but it's not, you know, the only non-engine I have is like Imperv and Ash, you know. It's the same thing. This and True Draco, this is just fancy True Draco.
I am having a hard time trying to rationale something here, because what you're trying to say is that for some reason the cards I run is stun, but they have no stun in them inherently.
What are y'all talking about?
He's having
He's
a problem
upset
here.
because I said
I didn't say
Shining
I'm
Star
upset.
because I glow. Because I said Shining Star because
No,
I
he's
glorified
saying
Sunday.
he's saying
That's
it's
what
a
I
glorified
said.
stun.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I know.
And I stand by that.
You know, as much as I would love to agree with you, Radio, I'm you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
No, I disagree. Okay.
You can
I
disagree
mean,
all you want.
if that's the case, every deck that I play with negates is a stun deck.
No.
Oh my fucking god! Now you're moving the goalpost. What's a stun deck to you?
No.
Okay, yes, define a stun deck.
Yes.
Define
please.
a stun deck. A deck. I have literally defined it like a very heavy
Literally.
control. A very heavy control deck. Like that is what is like.
What's a control
Dude,
deck?
how is that no different? Like, you play stun decks then.
What do you mean? I play which deck?
You
Which
Bell?
deck? You Bell?
Your U-Bell deck with, what's those cards called? The King of Yama and the other ones. What are those? I can't remember
Which
right
one?
now.
Unchained?
Unchained, in that case, Unchained U-Bell is a control deck.
Unchained U-Bell isn't a U-Bell deck. It's a combo deck.
It is a control deck. It doesn't matter if it's a combo deck that gets you there.
No.
Okay.
So now,
Okay, let me ask you
Let me
this.
give you let me give you two.
Is Stardust a combo deck?
Yes.
Does it have negates at the end?
Yes.
So it's a control deck.
No.
define control.
This,
A
he just defined it. It's literally the same thing he just said. He's just not gonna say it because he plays it.
No.
That's what it is.
This
And
is what we call
no.
moving the goalpost,
don't
Radio.
sit here.
No.
Don't sit here with your
Okay.
shenanigans, dude.
What do you
That's we
mean?
call
What
moving
shenanigans?
the goalpost.
You being
What goalpost? I have literally just said it is a very slow, heavy control deck. It
Why
doesn't
does-
like pop off.
Why does
It's
it
just
have to be slow?
Hmm?
Why does it have to be slow? It's a
do you
control
mean?
deck. It
like,
is a
okay,
controlled.
are you
like-
saying
like-
Snake? Okay, are you saying Snake Eye Fire King is a controlled deck?
Yes.
Really?
Literally, Yu-Gi-Oh is literally built around control decks.
No, no, no.
No.
Then what is the point of calling the decks control if like we're gonna call everything?
Because okay, this is where you have it wrong, right?
No.
No, I'm gonna once I say it, I guarantee you it'll make sense to you.
Okay.
Every deck in Yu-Gi-Oh basically is a control deck. Every modern deck is built to be a control deck. What you have a problem with in particular is stun decks, which we have to create a whole new term for because they're different. A stun deck would be your runic stun or your traditional stun with the dinosaur stuff. That is a whole different play style compared to control decks. If you go look at control deck and say Magic the Gathering or anything else,
No.
it is literally a deck that restricts play. How do you restrict play? You can do that via negates. You can do that through floodgates. Those are all you can do it with a bunch of like pops or like all of that is controlled. Like there's really only, if we're gonna be honest, there's really only 3 decks: beat down, stun, and control. That's it. You're playing one of the 3. There's no other deck in the game other than one of those instant win con decks like Exodia or Destiny or something. That's really all that we have in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, take a second to think about it, and you're like, yep.
No. Okay, let me tell you what I define a control deck as, right? A control deck, for me, is a deck that kind of focuses on wearing down your opponent's resources, right? That is, you are controlling the game by limiting how much your opponent can play, right?
That's what I just said.
No, because why I'm saying it's very different is because Stardust will OTK you. No.
Words are really not changing.
No.
Like,
Show
in
me
your
one
head.
game. No, because this is where terms matter. This is why people piss me off. You saying kill in one turn kill.
No.
Never,
This is what I'm saying.
When we're talking one turn kill, we're talking the very first turn and nobody else gets to play. Stardust never does that. What it does is it sets up its control.
That is a one-turn kill. You cannot play. It is a one-turn kill.
Okay, why can't I play? Why can't I play? Because you did what? You
But you're
controlled.
generalizing it. You're generalizing it. No, it's not controlled.
Yes, it
not-
is.
No, it's not. It's not about resource management. It's literally you cannot play.
You just said it was about resource
Which,
management,
if
though.
I cannot play, that
what
is
I'm
the
saying.
definition
It's
of
not
stun
control deck.
and control.
No. Stun
Because
is a very
think about it. If I can play you, it's no longer a control deck. It's something else. But you're stopping me from playing. That is a control deck. You're literally controlling my resources.
No, but you see, that's the thing. Stardust doesn't care about your resources.
Yes, it does.
No. They care about what you put on board.
Oh my God.
No. Listen.
We're listening.
Why are you
But the words are not changing here.
Dude,
Okay.
you put 5 negates on the board, and you want to say, okay, like you are, like this is math, okay?
No.
You're gonna end the duel with 4 dragons that negates, and you get one of them back because of Jet Synchron. Boom. So that's 5 negates. That means if we're talking math, you've automatically eliminated. Let's see, 18 times 5 is 90% of the options of the turn player because you got 5 freaking negates.
Okay, let me
So that's 5 out of
this.
6.
Let me simplify this. Let me simplify it this way. What is Stardust's grand game? If you clear Stardust's board, what is their grand game?
You're talking strategy now.
No. What is their grand game? Because that is a very significant part of control. Is you
What if
for you
the
to be a
user
control deck?
doesn't want to use that grind game, though?
You need grind. No. But listen, you need if your deck is to be classified as a control. What is Stardust's grind game? Just tell me that.
First of all, their grind game is recursion. They literally get everything back at the end of the turn. So every time they trade everything 1 for 1, and they do it. They get 5 of those, and then they get it all back at the end of the turn.
What I'm saying.
Let's say hypothetically, that for whatever reason Stardust couldn't kill you for 5 turns. Would they not be controlling you by limiting your plays for 5 turns?
Okay. You activate that Dark Ruler, and then you activate Raigeki. What does Stardust have to counter that? What does it have to counter that? Because if you do that to Lab, guaranteed Lab is playing through. You do that to True Draco, guaranteed True Draco is playing through. They're still going to have that aspect of control because it's not all tied into the monster effect. That's what I'm saying.
You could easily say whatever it is to effectively counter something else. That doesn't mean it classifies as something as control or not. Because what you just said, if you use, Dark Ruler no more and Raigeki on this one deck, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, what if you use
they can't do anything.
Dark Ruler no more and Harpy's Feather Duster on this other deck? Would it counter that intentionally?
If you use Dark Ruler no more and what on Labyrinth, chances are they have counterplay for that. That's the thing.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
What if you use Red Reboot on
Hold on. Okay. How control decks work? Survive the early game, trade resources, use card advantage, play powerful cards in the late game. Okay. Survive the early game. That is less of an issue in Yu-Gi-Oh because the game is so fast-paced. Like seriously, the games end within 3 turns most of the time. So, that's the standard. So we can't even use that. Like the late game versus ground game shit don't even really matter in Yu-Gi-Oh. So let's kill that argument. Trading resources. Does Stardust not trade resources?
Yes, it does.
Use card advantage. Do you not use card advantage?
Depends on how you build it.
Do you not? Dude, you have jump speed. You have jump speed. Dude,
depends on how you build it. Depends on how you build it. Depends on how you build it.
You literally, you literally get resources over and over and you end up with 4 negate dragons that keep coming back. Recursion, negation. That is card advantage because no matter what, I'm -4 at every turn before anything starts. I'm going to lose that theoretically. If that gets set up, I'm going to lose every time.
Isn't Kashtira considered a control stun, or whatever you want to call it?
That would be more...
Kashtira is a perfect example of a control deck. Perfect example of a control deck. That is what I'm saying.
That is a control deck, but it's not a stun deck. Which, again, Stardust is a control deck, it's not a stun deck.
We could argue about that.
Labyrinth is a control deck, and it's not a stun deck. But what I'm saying is what you're trying to do is apply stun to
We could argue about that as well. No.
I think there's a fine line between control and stun.
That's what I'm saying.
There is.
All deck, it's a spectrum. It's not like this is what I'm saying. You are just typing them out.
To control and it don't work.
No, it does because when your deck is very heavy on the control spectrum, it is basically bordering that line of stun. How can you say Labyrinth is not a stun deck?
Not.
How can you say Labyrinth is not a stun deck when they run Rivalry of Warlords? Let me just list cards that they play. Rivalry of Warlords. Is that not a stun card?
Sure. It's not a normal trap.
Okay.
It's not a normal trap.
Go on.
But they run it. They run it. They run it. Goddamn.
They don't have to.
But they do run it. Most of them do. Most of them do.
But it's not a necessity.
But most of them do.
Like to your point, the way you build the deck matters, right? So, again, okay. But my point here is, if I told you I play Barrier Statue versus I'm playing Big Welcome Labyrinth, which one of those is more of a control card?
Barrier Statue.
Okay. We would consider that the strongest variant, the stun deck of a stun deck, like in terms of control.
No. Listen.
There's a spectrum. There's a spectrum here, but there's a clear deviation.
That's what I'm saying. It's not stun. It's a glorified stun deck. That's what I'm saying.
But
it's a very heavy control deck. That is all the point was. It is a very, very heavy control deck, and it's a slog to play against. That is what. But this is what I'm saying. There's different ways in how they play, man.
Okay,
it's like
it's like
you're telling because by your logic.
Malice a control deck.
Yes. But it is.
Is Ryzeo a control deck?
No.
Is Snake Eyes Fire King a control deck?
No.
Is Tillaments a control deck?
Depends on how you play it.
So it depends on how you
Is
play
Yubel
it.
a control deck?
Hmm?
Yubel.
I wouldn't say it's a control deck.
Is Unchained a control deck?
I wouldn't say it's a control deck.
You say.
I wouldn't say it's a control deck. No.
Exactly. Every deck that you actually play is never a control deck. But I guarantee you,
No,
when
I
I'm
play a lot of control decks. Veilance is a control deck. Veilance is a control deck. I play that.
Okay, but the point here.
Time Thieves are a control deck. I play that. I am not like, I play True Draco. True Draco is a control deck. It's a glorified stun deck. I play that. Exo Sister
What
is
I'm
a
trying to
control
get you to
deck.
understand
Yes.
is, okay, there is control and there's stun, but you're applying stun logic to control.
No. What I am saying is, when I say glorified stun deck, and this is the point, is heavy control decks. Decks that are very, very focused on that grind game, restricting the resources, all of that. That is what I am saying. I play those decks. I play them. Exo Sister is like that. I play it like that. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. No. This is what I'm saying. No.
Yes,
But
checkmate.
no.
By your logic.
No.
By your logic.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Snake Eyes, Eldritch. Are you saying that those are the same type of deck? Are you saying that those are, because they're both control, right? Are you saying those are the same type of deck? Snake Eyes and Eldritch.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Never mind.
Because listen, okay, let me explain why. Because thematically, what is their goal? Is to choke you out of resources. At the end of the day, they're to choke you out of
But
resources.
how they do it is very different.
That's
It's
no different.
very-
Hold on.
No.
That's no different than me playing ABC deck and building a full negate board, and you playing Stardust and building a full negate board. The way we go about it is different. But if you NO4 negates and I NO4 negates, what's the difference?
Here's the big difference, okay, is that you're not understanding that stun would be considered more of like a slow stranglehold.
Yes.
What you're talking about control is a very fast and very hard headlock where you can't move. And if you try to move, you will break something in your trachea or something like that. And the difference of power level there is completely different, because what you're associating with stun is something that control does too. But how they do it is different in a way of strategy, but also thematically. Where
I agree.
Where the stun, the entire goal is to stop you from doing anything.
That
Control
is what
is to stop you turn by turn. That is.
This is why I'm saying
I agree.
you're focusing. No, you are hearing me saying that these decks are glorified stun decks,
But every
which
deck
I have
does that.
explained. No. Which I have explained is a very heavy control
Can you
style.
name me a deck that tries to stop you ever? Doesn't try to stop you, I should say.
And that's
Tempo.
my point. The entire core of Yu-Gi-Oh is control. Like, no, seriously.
Yes.
Show
No,
me,
but
show
I'm
me
not
a meta
denying.
deck that does not control in any way.
Listen. I'm not denying that decks have aspects of control. What I am saying is that the way the deck plays, the style of how the deck plays matters. Like when I say glorified stun, you're focusing too much on the. You are hearing this deck is a stun deck. All it's
That's
trying
not
to
what
do.
I'm hearing.
No, that's what you're hearing because
That's
that's,
not
what
what
you're
I'm
explaining to
hearing.
me. Okay. So this is because that's why I asked you, Snake Eye and Eldritch. Are you saying that they're the same thing? And you said yes.
Yes.
And you said because they're both trying to stop you. That is not that. But like, that is not what I am saying. You see what I'm saying?
But we're not.
What I am saying is
we're not trying
no.
to warp each other's, opinions.
Yeah.
I
You are
heard
trying
what
to-
you said. All I'm saying is karate and Muay Thai is still striking.
No.
That's basically what they are.
But they're
I
not the
told you,
same.
Their goal
If
is
you
to
told-
knock you out, but it
Okay,
doesn't matter.
but if you told
the
me-
style in which
if
they
you-
do it is different.
If you told me karate and Muay Thai are the same, people would laugh at you. That's what I'm saying.
Is it a strike? No. If I say, is it a striking style? What would you say? No, they're not striking styles.
They are striking styles, but
Bingo.
the object
But the way that they go about it is
but
different.
karate, exactly, and that's a good point, is because Muay Thai is aggressive. Karate is very, very defensive. There's a difference. There's a very big difference.
Is my goal to knock you out or not? Bingo.
How are you knocking them out? How are you
Does it
knocking
matter?
them out?
If you're in a fight, do you care? You say knock
If
them
you're
out.
describing them as styles, yes, it does matter.
Oh my God!
You know,
come on.
because if I say, "Oh, look at him! He's a karate black belt. He must be excellent in Muay Thai, or he must be excellent in kickboxing."
I'm not gonna say no, but no, I'm not gonna say that.
That's what I'm saying.
Because again, to your point, the Elder Snake Eye thing, in a vacuum, I'm looking at the big picture of it.
That's what I'm saying, is that you are not looking at it as a spectrum. There are certain amounts of control. It's like if I said Snake Eye and Rescue Ace are the same because they both use the same card, but the play style.
Because I'm not knowledgeable on Rescue Ace to that point to have that debate. So if you say that, I would take your word for it and not even, because I'm gonna be honest, I'd be like, I don't really know how that deck functions yet.
I think
and I played against it, and I still don't
that's
quite understand it. So I wouldn't even debate that with you. I would say, I would just say I don't have enough knowledge to debate that and just step back.
When you keep bringing up like all these different decks and how they're utilized, all you're talking about is just this different style that they do. And
exactly, that's what I am saying.
Of it doesn't change the direct goal of what they're trying to do, which is still trying to stop you every single turn.
Exactly, but how they try and stop you matters, which is why actually Kage's example.
So how you get a knockout matters?
Yes.
So it can only be a control deck if it's slow and it has to slowly take away super rate resources. It can't be quick, fast resource removal. Is what you're saying?
No.
You got it, radio.
No, you are like, bro. This is why I'm using. No.
You wrong for this.
No.
You wrong for this, bro.
No.
You ain't real, dog.
No.
Oh man,
No.
this dude ain't real.
No.
He gonna keep saying no like he ain't being real like that, dog.
Bro,
Real, man.
no, I'm actually goddamn heated, bro. Like this is actually pissing me off, bro. Oh my gosh.
Dude, you gotta take your feelings out of it because you personalize stun decks and control decks. You don't like it, but
no.
Be like,
I like control decks. What are you talking about? I love
you
it.
don't like it. You don't like
play it. I don't like playing against them. It's not fun. That's what I said. And that was the whole Is this okay? Is this fun playing against my? Exactly. Is this fun playing against my exo sister deck? That is exactly what I'm saying, and I admitted that from the first. When I play my Exo Sister deck, it is not to combo off, it's not to goddamn make intricate boards. It is literally, I am gonna put you in a headlock and I am going to make it hard for you to use your resources. I am going, like, you know what I mean?
You're describing pace.
Well, yes.
Thank you.
But like, that is what I'm saying. It's like, if I played Rescue Ace,
but in the beginning you said it was slow. And so, like, what is it? Like, are you so vehemently against a control deck being fast?
No, Rescue Ace is fast, but it's a control deck as well.
Okay. So you're saying a combo deck cannot be a control deck under any circumstance?
No, I'm saying there are different types of decks between a combo deck and a
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a higher class for you? Type or style?
What do you mean by type?
What do you mean by type? That's what I'm trying to
but
figure out.
No, because you asked me like type or style.
Like,
what do you mean by type?
Type or would type come before style?
But like that's what I'm saying. Like what? Okay.
Like if we're okay, so we're building a deck. Which comes first, type or style?
Like that's what I'm saying. Like explain what do you mean by type? Like what do you mean? I'm asking. I'm genuinely asking.
That's what I'm asking you though, because you're arguing.
But like you're asking me type or style, but then what do you mean by type? What do you mean by style? Like
but okay. Radio. Yeah. What I'm trying to get you to understand is you've used type and style almost interchangeably this entire time. To understand where you're coming from.
But like that's what I'm saying is like, what do you mean? Okay, what do you mean? You're asking me like type or style, which comes first? I'm saying, what do you mean by type? What is your understanding of type?
Okay.
What is your understanding of type? Yeah.
For me, if I build a deck, it's like, okay, do I want a beat down deck? Do I want a control deck? Or do I want a stun deck? Okay. Next is the style. How am I going to do that? What is the pathway? Am I going to use the graveyard? Because that's a style to control you. Am I going to control the cards in your hand? That's a style. Am I going to control the cards that you play on the field? That's a style. But it's all control oriented. Am I going to slow grind you by restricting cards by using like barrier statues and floodgates? That's a style.
They all
so
have
there's the type
of control,
and the style for me.
That is why I said it is a spectrum. They're heavy control decks, they're light control decks. Snake Eye, yes, there are aspects of control. Promethean Princess, you could argue, is a card that does control. Flameburst, you could argue, is a card that does control, but it is different in intensity.
It literally takes control of
that is what I'm saying. It's different. Yes, all of them have elements of it.
That's elements of it, but that's not like okay. Okay. For instance, Promethean Princess. It's a floodgate for yourself, true, but it allows you to resurrect a card on your turn. And then allows you to go into something else. Now, when it's in a graveyard, it is definitely a control card, or even a stun card to some degree. But on the field, it is not that. It is something completely in entirety. So it's a different class of card, which is why it is also a much stronger card because it does so much. I wouldn't say it's like I say some cards can have elements of different things, but what is the purpose of the card is far different than like some cards just don't fit in one singular category. I like an example because I'm considering running this for the event is ABC Dragons.
Okay. Let me put another one into perspective. Maybe this.
Because I get what you're trying to say. I just don't agree with your use of terms and how you associate them based off of that. Because I think to me, I like, and I've said before, this is a control game. Like straight up, this is a control-based game. You will never see a deck win a beat down deck and win a YCS. It's never. So it's to me, it's just okay. Like, okay, for instance, Stun is never winning a YCS. It's never winning a YCS.
But Stun is at the far end of the spectrum.
So, let me ask you a question. To play optimally, do you need to play Stun?
Do you need what?
Do you need to play Stun to play optimally?
No.
Okay. But to play optimally, you have to be control-oriented, do you not?
You have to have some aspects of control. Or, if you are a deck like Tenpai, a deck like Ancient Gear, a deck like Heroes, you don't really need to control, you just need to break through. Beatdown is
to be optimally, do they not need some kind of control aspect?
Very minimal.
The minimal doesn't matter. Do they need it?
No.
Okay, so then how come Tenpai hasn't won anything for the past few years? Or year, I should say.
Because, again, it is a very one-dimensional deck. It has one thing it does very well. and it's the best at that. But again, that is why Yubel and Snake Eye are so powerful, because they give you so many options. You can play Snake Eye control style, you can play Snake Eye explosive style, you can play Snake Eye one-turn kill style, you can play Snake Eye floodgate style. Stun, like pure stun, like, you know. It is that these decks are versatile. Tempai does one thing very well. If everyone was running Tempai, how would people respond? All they do is they just start running 3 of the goddamn traps that say you cannot attack, you cannot destroy monsters by battle, skip your opponent's next battle phase, all cards like that. And Tempai loses. It's the same reason why even a heavy control deck like Lab, I don't believe, because everyone will just pivot to using heavy spell trap removal deck. So now you're bringing up how the deck, like how the deck, what the deck excels at.
I said optimal.
Right?
I said
In
order to be optimal.
Yeah. In order to be optimal. But
You
like,
not need to be control oriented.
when you're playing Tempa, or when you're playing Ancient Gear, or when you're playing like Go Second Heroes, or you know,
I didn't bring
the
up
Horus
these
goddamn, or
I didn't bring
the
up any of these decks. You did.
But like, well, that's what I'm saying. To play optimally, you're saying, do you need to be control oriented? Those decks don't need to be control oriented. When you
By
play
your-
that go
by your
second,
definition of control. That's what they already do.
how so?
What was your definition? That's all I
If my game plan is literally, I don't care what you put up. In fact, this is a perfect example. The Ryan Yu, his goddamn blind second Sky Strike, right? That is a control deck that, you know, that is a control deck that it is focused on going second, but it has to have elements of control, because you can want OTK, but it's like
Elements, or is it?
It is a control deck.
Thank you. So it's not elements, it has to be control deck.
Yeah, but like, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. So it is a control deck, because it is basically, you're just gonna out-resource them, manipulating the engage, the whatnot, right? Right? Can we agree on that?
So then, to play optimally, you have to be a little control oriented, right?
Not for a Tempa.
I mean,
Okay,
what
wait a
is
minute.
somebody-
Oh, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider hand trap control?
I guess you could, but
Does
not really.
Tempai run hand traps?
Yes.
Do they run a modest amount, or do they run a overly stimulated amount of hand traps?
They run a lot of hand traps.
So Tempai would not function without control.
It can function without control.
So you can play Tempai without control.
Yes, you can.
Okay. In what way?
What do you mean, in what way?
Explain.
You just board break instead.
Is that not control?
This is what I'm saying, is that you're taking something having an aspect of control to its game plan, and you're saying, well, yeah, this is basically a control deck. That's not true. That's not true. It's just not true.
Okay, can Tempai function without controlling the state of the board?
What do you mean?
Can they function without controlling the state of the board? Meaning, can they be played without controlling the state of the board? Meaning, you don't care what your opponent does or happens, they are going to still play their game regardless of whatever is on the board.
But no deck plays like that.
Thank you. They're all control decks.
No. Oh, gosh. No one
Because
is denying that they have aspects of control. No, listen.
They're all
No one
control
is
decks,
denying
bro.
No. You are not literally. No, you are not calling Tempai a control deck. It's
What
not
was
a
Blue
control
Eyes before the support? Was it a control deck or a beatdown deck?
You're asking the wrong brother about Blue Eyes, my God. You're asking the wrong brother about Blue Eyes.
Blue Eyes was basically a beatdown deck before they got all this other stuff. Now they run the horrors, they run all the new support, and they play all these like negates and other things and interruptions. They are a control deck now. But it's funny because they weren't even looked at as a viable deck until they got control aspects added. And I don't care what anyone says. If I sit there and I look at my hand and realize I have less options because of stuff you put on the field, I am controlled. You are controlling me. The only way to not be a control deck is you have to allow someone to be able to play free. And be able to ignore what their interaction is in some kind of way. And there's no deck in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! That works that way. Like, we all, at the end of the day, we all inherently
Let me ask you a question. Okay, yes, that is what I'm saying. That is literally what I've been saying from the start. All of them have aspects of control. It's a spectrum, right? There's some that are
whatever you decide to do.
Okay.
I trust you.
Do stun decks not care what you play? Do stun decks not care what you play?
I'm sorry, I was talking to you.
Yeah, I said, do stun decks not care what you play?
Yes.
They do. They do care what you play.
Yes.
Exactly. And that is the very heavy style on the control end. It's because for a stun deck, if you play, they lose. Basically.
But again, that's a style. A style of what? It's a style of what?
What do you mean? It's a heavy control deck. That is what I'm saying.
Thank you. It's all control. Thank you.
All of them have aspects of control, my guy. Like you're literally like, bro. I have literally been saying this for 30 goddamn minutes. All of them, every last one of them, every deck has an aspect of control, but some have heavier aspects than others.
It's a style. You said it. I did. You said it.
Oh man.
You said it. I didn't say it. You said it's a style. A style of what is what I asked. You said it.
No,
Control is the higher thing, which is what I'm trying to get you to realize. It's all the same thing.
No.
Because you wouldn't say stun and then put control underneath it.
True.
Exactly. So it's control with stun underneath it. Which means that all control decks. We love you too, Radio Man. This
I hate you so much. I hate you so much.
It's okay.
Like one of the
I would love to go ask Jessica and Josh Smith this question.
It's a very interesting
I'm
concept.
pretty sure you can actually.
It's a very
Like
interesting concept because it's like there's a thin line between stun and control, but that line is so blurry that it's you just easily cross over to it, because when you really think about it, stun is just stopping your opponent from playing everything. And so when it comes to negates, when it comes to floodgates, these things can easily be interchangeable, because what does Destiny Plasma do? He doesn't let you do anything for monster negates on the field. So when you apply that to just spell traps, it really doesn't make it that much of a difference, because Destiny Plasma is literally just skill drain. Although he doesn't need to be
skill drain on legs.
Yeah,
You know what? Okay.
Skill drain on legs.
Let me ask you a question then, right? Would it be fair to think that stun affects both players and control affects only the other opposing player?
That's actually a good difference there, because skill drain does affect both people. It doesn't affect just your opponent.
So like when we're discussing this, stun is something that both players in Yu-Gi-Oh! Conceptually, because stun I don't believe exists in any other card game. And to be fair, with other, and this is why I'm using this, in other card games there is definitive different modes of like building a deck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you're not like there may be a control format, but there will be like heavily offensive geared, heavily like there's specific win conditions, yada yada yada. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, it has grown, like they have built this game to literally just be nothing but control. It's just the technique or the style in which you employ differs from deck to deck because of how they do it. Most often we're going to see it in the form of hand traps and negates. Recently we've been seeing a lot of, oh, I'm going to pop this and I'm going to banish this. Non-target, removal. But that's just a different form that it comes in. It's all still control at the end of the day. Like Snake Eyes, for instance, got ungodly amounts of removal and interaction. You know, Tier, to a lesser extent, is a control deck, but it does it differently.
I think Tier is a very heavy control deck actually. Like when you think about it, because
it depends
even
on what's
like,
in it.
Yeah, because even like the monsters they play, like they're like yeah, they've got some big beaters in like Rui Kalos and what's his name, Kaleido Heart. But like when you think about it, the actual game plan of Tier is just, I'm gonna get so many resources that can counter so many different things you can do to me that it's not even gonna matter, you know.
The way, okay. Like, okay, theoretically in this game, every deck has probably at least one floodgate that they don't want to encounter. You know what I'm saying? If, like, I remember playing Pokemon back in the day, and yeah, way back early in the day, and there were different kinds of decks in that game, right? And there were certain things you didn't want your opponent running. But there was no guarantee because it depended on like the style and technique of the deck. And so you had to, the way you played the game differed based on what, you know, your opponent was playing or running to some degree. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you had a game plan, there were certain game plans that you just had to have your deck built to, like, okay, this random thing could have happened, so let me have it anyway, even if I never use it. In Yu-Gi-Oh!, we're in such a format of aggression and hyper speed. Like, this is probably the fastest card game ever to exist. Like, when you really think about it. So when my opponent goes first, it's so unbalanced in this game that I have to control you from jump to get a chance to play.
No, that I definitely agree with, because it's like, especially like when you look at the meta decks, well, it's relevant to us in Master Duel, but like, I know the OCG and TCG have basically handled it with like Raizio and Malice, but it's like, because it's like Snake Eye and Yubel, especially with the addition of Feedsmith, if you let them play, you are not playing, or you are not winning. Like if you're going second and you see like your opponent like opens Nightmare Throne, usually most people just scoop, you know what I mean? Because it's like what can I do, bro? I know what they're gonna put up. I know I don't have the capacities for this big man, you know? Unless of course,
3 o'clock already? Fuck.
Unless of course you're a mad lad.
This whole, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just fucked itself. Like, I don't ever expect there to be a deck that's not a control deck. And if it is, it's not, I guarantee it's going to be in that role.
There'll never be a good deck that doesn't have some aspect of control. That is true.
And if it doesn't,
I feel
have
like
it, we're going to add it.
And I feel like that is actually a reason why a lot of people don't like hand traps. Because when you think about it, hand traps are basically just, your deck doesn't have any aspect of control, let me give it to you for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Even if your deck doesn't have it inherently,
it adds more pressure if you have something along with that hand trap.
And I think that's why Rescue Ace was so good for a long time, is because, I mean, it's kind of fallen off, you don't really see them that much, but it's like, because, like, especially a deck like Yubel or Snake Eye, like, if you can heavily control them and still have access to some aspect of comboing, which, you know, the Rescue Ace had, because that, I don't know what you call that, the one that bulks your field. What's that Rescue Ace card?
I don't know because I don't keep up with their cards like that. But so
is it a spell card or a trap card?
No, it's a monster card.
Trap.
It's a monster card that when it's summoned, like you can target
Turbulence.
Is it Turbulence? No, Turbulence is the one that sets. No, Turbulence is the one that sets all the cards. It's like when it's on the field, it's got like 2,800 attack. Hold on,
It's not
just
the.
saw
I
it.
don't remember.
Hold on.
You know, Kage, you actually brought up a really good point about the difference between if one person is under the effect or both players are under the effect.
Yeah.
Because I think that is what truly does distinguish control and stun. Because
I could accept that. I can accept that because
because Jowgen
control
doesn't
is
allow you
controlling
to
aspects of the
stun
game, and stun is just like nope. I make the rules. I make the rules for the game. Yeah,
But
rescue
the
ace
thing
preventer. That's his name, preventer.
And the other part too that has to go along with that is stun is perfectly okay playing under the restrictions that they set up. The opposing player is not built for that. Like they're not supposed to be built for that. So if I'm running certain floodgates, you're not like even though I'm gonna use this in the control aspect. Like let's take Exo Sister. Exo Sister is built to they don't give a fuck about their own graveyard. But their job is literally, if you want to talk about stylistically, is to punish the opposing player for playing in their graveyard. That's how they beat you. If you don't have to play in your graveyard, that deck is a lot less threatening and is a lot less powerful. Now, what separates that from like a stun deck is stun deck just is going to say, we're both not going to do this thing or these set of things, and I'm going to do that better because my deck is designed to do this. Your deck cannot deal with the situations that I'm going to have affect both of us. My deck is, and therefore it's a stun because you're stunned out of being able to act. Whereas control is just simply saying there are certain things I'm going to deny for the sake of making my life easier or allowing you to play the game. You know, and it's usually not long term, which is why, you know, if you want to talk about it, there's a difference between, say, Labyrinth. Way back when Yu-Gi-Oh! First started, Don Zalug was a control deck. Soul Exchange Monarch was a control deck, but you could play against it. Now, it's so far gone that it's like, no, nobody will play. Nobody will play.
You know, that's actually a very good example of like, you know, like, what was it? Like Monarchs. Monarchs are a deck that went from being a very heavy control deck to basically just being a stun deck, and not a glorified stun deck. Literally, they're just like, if you're playing Monarchs in Modern Era, you're playing the stun deck. You know what I mean? Because it's literally all those goddamn. What's the name of their field spell? I've forgotten. But
Which one?
you can
Monarch?
basically the Monarch one. It's an ultra rare, I think.
It's like Sharon,
But anyway, the one that says that you can.
whatever.
Yeah. The one that says you can, if you control a tribute summon monster, you can.
You can't summon
Your opponent
the
can
other deck.
special summon from the extra deck, or you know, then they have that trap card that negate all effects of monsters if you control tribute summon monster, except tribute summon monsters. I mean, and like, I'm pretty sure Monarchs play Vanity's Emptiness and Vanity's Fiend and all that nowadays.
You know what? Now that I think about it, Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs an aspect. They need to take this from Pokemon. Whereas, like in Pokemon, you can't make a pass unless you build up enough energy in the Pokemon cards, and so you have to dedicate part of your deck to energy cards. They need to force players to have to dedicate, like, select a type and literally limit or cut off what they have access to do. I think that brings a lot of this struggle crazy shit back to
How I would do it, I would say that maybe like all these big dark decks, like let's exclude
I'll give you an example.
Okay, and like let's say if you said for example, let's say if you could declare your deck, right? Like you say, okay, my deck is a huge deck. says, okay, you must have certain things dedicated to it, and then you can have certain things for public.
okay, I got to get Albaz in the graveyard ASAP. So you would build your deck to milling that card. But it would depend on what your deck master was. And they should, if they were going to revamp this game, they would need to literally have certain cards that are texted by whatever archetype they're in, so it makes it more powerful. Because you're not going to be able to just splash certain things. And the same thing with extra deck monsters. Some cards should be locked behind, if this card is used as a synchro material, you get this effect. If this card was used with this fusion monster, you get this effect. You know, that way Baron can't just come in and get pops and negates generically. Maybe it gets the pops, but it don't get the negate unless you use this card to synchro
the flirt synchron or something, you know?
Yes.
If this card is someone with flirt synchron, then
that cures the game.
Yeah.
And
I think
it makes it now you have to be way more meticulous about how you're going to build your deck. And you're not going to have as much room for all these hand traps. You're not going to be able to just fit all these floodgates in. You know what I'm saying? And some of those floodgates should be hidden behind the same thing. Like, if I'm going to floodgate you, I need to have control of said monster under these circumstances. And it shouldn't just be one. It should be like 2 or 3. You know, like if it's a dark berry statue, maybe it's like Dark Magician is on the field, 3 spell cards in the graveyard, and some other thing is occurring. Boom, now this happens. Like, you have to work up to it.
Yeah.
But it forces, like, if you actually can build up to it, you get the payoff. And the opponent has multiple ways to interact to disrupt that. So, like, if it's Dark Magician is on the field, but they get rid of the Dark Magician, boom, the floodgate goes away instantly. And that to me is like how it should be. It makes the game more fun. Every player has to build their deck based around a certain card, you know, as their deck mate or deck leader, and it enables you by playing the card. It does not benefit you to just include the card in the deck for the sake of using it as a combo.
Honestly, at this point in time, it would probably be better for Konami to just do an entirely spin-off game, kind of like with what they did with Speed Duels.
Yeah.
And not only that, they could easily put in like other card art for Dark Magician, Blue Eyes, and all these other like really titular ace monsters.
They could retrain every card.
Yeah, that's
like they did the same thing where they took away magic and made it spell. So they could literally retrain every card in that way, and just call it Master Duel 6 or whatever the fuck it be.
Yeah, I think the deck leader thing would be an interesting thing.
Yeah, it would fix the majority of it, and then, like, yeah, so there are gonna be some that are busted. Like Visa Starfrost would be busted because it just has access to too much to start off, but you could build up other ones, and it would.
I'm looking at these Gemini cards, and I'm just thinking, like, bro, this whole playstyle, like in modern, like the same way you said, just like, yeah, it's like a lot of them have very good effects, but it's just like you need either to normal summon them again, or you have like Super Alloy Beast or this synchro card. What is it? Black Bud Drago? Black Bud Drago? What? Black Brute Drago. Okay. I was gonna say black because it's got a big booty. So I thought, what? Black Brute Drago.
But you know what? Gemini cards aren't that bad off. Like, what they need to do is they need to, I'm calling the hand up. They need to send this card to the graveyard, or discard this card, summon, and should automatically unlock everything. Like, any Gemini has 4 effects on something.
There's a field spell like a Catalyst Field.
But you need a way to search it consistently, so that it's not like a detriment. It's one thing to like rely on the field, but you can't get to it.
Yeah, you search it with this diamond emphasis, just like add 1 Catalyst Field from your deck to your hand. So basically,
what does the field spell do?
The field spell says during your main phase, you can only summon 1 Gemini monster with the
See, that doesn't help. That just like you another legend summon. What you need to do is automatic activation for them on summon. So that's automatic.
Then you'd need Super Alloy Beast Reptinius. Reptinius says all Gemini monsters on the field are treated as effect monsters and gain their effects. And that card is 1 Gemini monster plus 1 Gemini monster.
Shit, if you looked at it's Brilliant Fusion and there's the other one that they came out with. Both of them are extremely good, but the second one they came out with, they put the restriction, I think, that you can't summon anything else but genius or something. but that it's like they learned their mistake the first time.
Well, yeah, because Brilliant Fusion was kind of stupid.
You know, even though I ain't gonna lie, the concept of milling cards from your deck to do stuff is like, because Azamina, and I was looking at that with Bob earlier, like Azamina has that, oh, you can send these spell cards from your deck to count as the materials for the future. Like, that to me is a nice concept and a nice change of life thing to have. But it should be restricted to only cards within the archetype, so they're not like, oh, I'm gonna spam this in every deck.
I feel like what they need to get like off is the obsession they have with cards need to have negates. That is a problem, I feel, because you know, like there's one negate that I really do like, because it's like you can negate this, but your opponent can discard one card to prevent the negation, which is like very good for me, because no, it's not Fabled, it's a new card.
Fabled has that though.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I draw cards, and then if your opponent doesn't decide to discard, then you don't get to draw. Like it's like you get to draw two, discard one, but if they discard a card, you don't have to draw.
I feel like that's how most generic negates should be, is that your opponent can, unless your opponent discards a card, negate that effect.
I think
that way, like you're.
If you want to give a monster within an archetype a negate, it needs to directly be tied to the boss monster. Exactly. It needs to be tied to the deck. If you don't have these materials, or if it wasn't summoned with these materials, it doesn't get these effects.
Which goes back to the point I was making.
Which is funny, because Dragoon kind of has that ass backwards. Because it's like you still get the negate, you just don't get the pop.
Yeah, you don't get to pop, which is, honestly, I think it's a better idea, because you could just pop for free and then burn everyone. Like, yeah, it would probably be a bit stronger, because it is a free pop, it's a non-target pop.
Yeah.
There's 3 interactions on summons, 2 pops and a negate. For 1 card. Like I'm not like, as far as a boss monster is concerned, that's what I expect a boss monster to do. But as far as what's healthy for the game, I think that's way too strong for 1 card.
I think really, in reality, Dragoon should have had, if this card was fusion summoned with a effect monster, because it needs to have Dark Magician. If it was summoned with an effect monster, you can pop once or twice or whatever, right? But if it was fusion summoned with Red Eyes, then it gets that's kind of how it should be.
I think,
They're gonna have to, like,
because even like when you look at like cards like Appaloosa,
oh boy,
is like you see, and especially because that is a victim of the card, of the speed at which the game is progressed at. Because before, Link 4s were supposed to be your boss monsters, right? It's like, I'm gonna get a bunch of resources and I'm gonna put them all into this one mod. But now, like a Link 4, bro, it's so easy to make. There's so many cards that just get you free bodies, or let you recycle your Link monsters, and then you use a Link 2, and then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This like don't get even like, because like Yu-Gi-Oh is fun as fuck as it is right now, but like it's fun as camps. It's like card game Overwatch, but it's still,
where's my
it
mercy?
could be better. But I don't know how many people would still play this game if we made some of the changes we're talking about, because I don't want this game to be too slow. Like, I don't want to go back to the Yadagarasu saying and summon gets into the graveyard. I don't want to go back to those days, per se. But I don't want it to be as turbo fast. Like, this combo should not take 15 minutes. Like, you should be able to make all your plays basically within a minute or 2 of the game.
What I really enjoyed about old school Yu-Gi-Oh is you're building up to something. You know, there was a strategy you had in mind throughout the entire game, right? Every single turn, you would draw to that last key piece, right? But whatever your starting hand was, you always had, okay, if I get this card, I can do this. If I had this card, I'm going to go into this card. If I get this, it's game, right? That's kind of how old school Yu-Gi-Oh was. But with new school, it's more, hey, I need to have this one card to do everything else, right? If we can just limit to where it's, okay, that didn't work out. Let me try and get this other card, right? Like that. And I kind of wish it wasn't so fast to where it's like, okay, I can just throw this card in here. I can mill 10 more cards with this card, right? I kind of wish it was more dialed back to where like old school Yu-Gi-Oh, like a balance of new school and old school, where you had a strategy with playing your cards, and then the payoff actually was something worthwhile, right? Like back in the day, you know, getting a ritual monster on the field was very hard, and there was not much that could stop it. Now
that's another thing. When it comes out, the Mitsurugi stuff is gonna be stupid.
Oh my god!
See,
Ritual summon from the deck.
If you want to talk about potency as far as that shit is concerned, give me like some more. As a like to me, that's you should end your board with a some more card on the field, and should be like, okay, I got this card. You know, winning is extremely like high. You know, you can't target the things that are underneath it essentially. And I get to get one every turn. You know, I get to add one, from the deck and put it on the field. That's not too powerful. You can still deal with it, and it's fair. There's ways to play around the card. That is how most cards should be tuned to. It's still fast-paced, but that should be the peak of a card.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think the XC's era is really when they started going ham on these, like, broken effects because you needed two monsters. Because, like, when I look at cards like Shockmaster, I always just say, who thought this was a good idea? A soft once per turn. A soft once per turn, by the way. So if you get two, you know what I mean? If you get two, you can roll out, like, spells and trap,
I'm gonna tell you right now, Konami is working on a deck where there's gonna be a one card combo that starts in the end phase. Understand what I'm saying? It's branded. It's gonna be a branded type of thing, except all the plays happen in the end phase, and therefore it's immune to a lot of activation stuff. Like, I guarantee you, they're gonna say, like, you know what? Branded is a good idea. Let's just make all the plays happen in the end phase.
Oh no!
So you can't get hit with Niv. You know what I'm saying? You can't do like there's a lot of dodging that will occur because it's in the end phase. It'll be like, if you have the field spell, any card activated in the end phase cannot be negated. Now imagine.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I mean, like, when you think about it,
because
like,
that's Tempa just in a different way.
Yeah, like, when you think about it, I know tier was like really oppressive in the sense that, like, you basically were playing tier, you weren't playing anything. But, like, when you think about it, tier was probably one of the most fun formats because it was back and forth. You know what I mean? Even if the game was really quick and they had all these interactions, it was still just, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta shuffle back that, you know what I mean? Like, you and your opponent were having this dance of, like,
I don't know what games you were having. It was just me,
no. You
trying to, like, stay alive.
You know me, bro.
I did
like,
not play during tier format.
No.
I said fuck that.
No, he should. No, Bob knows this because there was one time I was playing a tier player and he was playing on my turn, and he was playing on my turn, bro. He set up a board on my turn, bro. I was shocked at that.
Tier
My
was
man
fun.
Was, I still remember that, bro. Oh my
tier
god.
was fun to me once it no longer became meta, and it was like, at that point it was like, okay, like, because I don't care what anyone says, milling the deck is fun.
Middle
like,
of
no
the deck
matter
is
what,
it's very
when I
fun.
get to dump cards from the deck to the graveyard, it feels good to do that. So like from the concept of how you play a card game, that is fun. But it's not just that. It's like it's that gamble thing. Because like the minute you mill something, like you get excited when you see what's sent. It's like waiting for presents on Christmas. It's like, okay, what did I get? What did I get? If you get the right
That is
shit,
such a gambler mindset.
no, but for real, it's that adrenaline. Yes! Like, okay, oh my god, I got this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Oh, wow, I got this now. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. But the other part of that, too, is when you sit there, you engage in that kind of gameplay. Like, you get to sit there, see what you mill, and then you have to assess the board and make your play. Because you, even if you mill certain things, some things may not be useful in that moment. But having it in the graveyard for later is good. In that, like to play tier, you have to be very good at managing. People who are not good at managing resources cannot play tier effectively. It literally, like, I remember like having to play, and I wasn't playing tier, but I was playing like what's the card? Lightsworn, and I literally had to manage my resources to get the mills off of the what's the card? What's the one? Grass is Greener. And once I hit Grass is Greener, I had to order my plays a certain way to win the deal, but I won the deal completely. But it requires a certain level of skill to manage, and sometimes it's like players get coddled in this game with the ease of playing certain cards. They don't actually understand like sequencing of your cards.
That is kind of... The other problem I have is that there are certain words that are kind of meaningless when it comes to effects, like when and not if.
Yeah, that needs to be removed.
Yeah, I think all cards that have when should be changed to if, because if you want a game to just like we all know about like the history of Yu-Gi-Oh, where they all started off like, if you looked at early cards, they had different words, where now it's like, okay, we have a set, terminology where they all mean something. Because if you look at Monster Born,
although like the one caveat I have to that is certain cards become very broken if you make that when change, like not Lovely, what's the name? Lady Labyrinth. Because really, the main counter to her is like, as soon as the trap card activates, you trigger an effect, so so she doesn't get to set a thing. But if her thing works like an if, that deck immediately becomes like.
Well,
all I need to do
when all depends on when the monster is summoned. If it's summoned last, meaning if it's the last in the chain, it will always go off no matter what. Depending on certain things.
But yeah.
See, when should just allow.
I don't think
when it says when, it should literally just be. It should literally just be like, okay, if this card is sent, it should be automatic next chain activate. Now it shouldn't be like, you missed the timing.
I think that is next thing. Yeah, I think that is the stupid thing.
Because the way the game, if you watch Master Duel, it sends the card and then it shows the chain. And I guess that's the way they designed the game. Like, not Master Duel, it's just supposed to be like, boom, acknowledge it. What should happen is it should show both in sequence. No matter what. Like boom, they both come and activate like one after another immediately. The order, the timing, I guess should be able to miss. Oh, this is trigger boom, automatically comes next. Then the if card can come after that. Because technically when we get the win, it's there, it's done. It should automatically hop in the chain.
Yeah.
Because Yang Zing misses timing for that very reason. And it's like, why?
This is what I was telling you on the radio points is like we are at the mercy of someone's interpretation of the rules. Because yeah, they have like a whole bunch of things where they have to ask.
Just U.S. government.
Exactly. Yeah, we are literally at the mercy of Konami's interpretation of their own rules, and it kind of sucks because sometimes things still don't make sense. Like, for instance, the lingering effect when I blew up your entire board with Mirror Jade, and we didn't understand what was going on. Remember that?
Don't.
What?
Wait. What? What? How are they gone?
Branded too strong.
Come on, man.
Don't look at me, dude. I have no answer for it. Okay. I'm just playing the game. Okay. Okay. I'm just playing the game. Okay.
I'm salty right now, bro.
Well,
Because I remember the first time that happened, I'm like, what the fuck? All the salt.
all the salt was flowing, and I was just like,
Oh, the salt mines, baby. The salt mines.
I don't know why that works. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very complex, but funny enough, simple game at the same time.
Fuck this game.